When that statement hit the airwaves, it did not land softly. It exploded into living rooms, into break rooms, into late-night family conversations. It was not just another political sentence. It felt like a spark thrown into dry grass. In one moment, everything felt normal. In the next moment, hearts were racing. Because when a former president, especially someone as powerful and controversial, hints at citizenship for undocumented immigrants, essential workers and dreamers, that is not small talk. That is not background noise. That is something that shakes people awake. Phones started buzzing, messages started spreading, social media feeds filled up within minutes. Did you hear what he said? Is this real? Could this actually happen? You could almost feel the tension in the air. For millions of immigrants, words like citizenship are not just legal terms. They are dreams. They are safety. They are the difference between fear and freedom. So when that word is even whispered in a national conversation, it hits deep. Imagine the shock of hearing that after years of feeling ignored, after years of hearing only about enforcement, deportation, and restrictions. Suddenly, the conversation shifts. Suddenly, the possibility, even a small one, is mentioned. That is powerful. Because shock does something important. It wakes people up. It forces attention. It breaks routine thinking. For years, many immigrants have learned to guard their expectations, to not get too hopeful, to not believe too quickly. But when a statement like this is made, even the most careful heart pauses. It makes you stop scrolling. It makes you turn up the volume. It makes you lean forward. And in that moment, something changes. Not the law, not the system, but the energy. The conversation moves. The silence breaks. Shock is not always negative. Sometimes shock is the beginning of awareness. Sometimes it opens doors to discussions that were once locked. Sometimes it forces leaders, lawmakers, and voters to react. And that is why this moment feels different. Because it was unexpected. Because it challenges assumptions. Because it creates questions that demand answers. People who never imagined hearing such words are now listening closely. Families who had stopped hoping are quietly wondering again. Workers who felt invisible are asking if they are finally being seen. That first wave of shock carries emotion, strong emotion, surprise, curiosity, doubt, excitement, fear, all mixed together. It is messy, it is loud, it is human. And when something shakes people like that, it cannot be ignored. That is where this story begins, not with policy, not with paperwork, not with votes, but with a single moment that made millions of people look up and say, "Wait, what did he just say?" After the shock settles, something even more powerful begins to rise: hope. It starts quietly, almost carefully, like a small light in a dark room. People do not shout it at first, they whisper it, they test it, they ask, "Could this be real? Is this finally our moment?" That tiny spark of possibility begins to grow inside hearts that have been waiting for years. For undocumented families, hope is not a simple emotion. It is heavy. It carries memories of promises made before. It carries the pain of reforms that never passed. It carries the fear of disappointment. And yet, when citizenship is even mentioned, hope refuses to stay silent. Parents begin imagining a future without fear, a future where they do not worry every time they drive to work, a future where a knock on the door does not make their hearts drop. They picture stability, they picture security, they picture finally belonging fully to the country they already call home. Essential workers feel something different but just as powerful. For years they have woken up before sunrise. They have worked double shifts. They have risked their health during pandemics. They have paid taxes. They have kept the economy alive. Many of them did this without papers, without recognition, without protection. So when citizenship is hinted at, it feels like maybe, just maybe, their sacrifice is finally being seen. Dreamers feel it deeply too. Young men and women who were brought here as children, who grew up speaking English, who studied in American schools, who pledged allegiance to the flag every morning. For them, hope feels like oxygen. The possibility of permanent status means freedom to plan their lives, freedom to build careers without fear, freedom to dream without limits. Hope changes posture. People stand a little straighter. They talk differently at dinner tables. Conversations shift from survival to possibility. What if this passes? What would we do? How would life change? That is the power of hope. It allows people to imagine beyond their current situation. But this hope is careful. It is not wild excitement. It is not blind celebration. It is cautious, experienced, mature hope. The kind that has been hurt before but still chooses to believe again. Communities begin sharing information. Churches talk about it. Workers discuss it during lunch breaks. Families call relatives in other states. There is energy in the air, not chaos, but awareness. A sense that something important could be moving. Hope also brings strength. It reminds immigrants that their stories matter, that their years of hard work were not invisible, that their contributions are part of the American story. It reminds them that change, even slow change, is possible in a democracy. And even if nothing has changed yet legally, emotionally something has shifted. When people feel hope, they feel alive. They feel seen. They feel like participants in the future, not just observers. Hope does not erase fear. It does not guarantee outcomes, but it creates movement inside the heart. It replaces silence with questions. It replaces resignation with attention. And in that rising hope, millions of people begin watching closely, listening carefully, and quietly daring to imagine a life where the word citizenship is not just a dream, but a reality within reach. But along with hope, another feeling quietly walks into the room: uncertainty. And it does not knock politely. It settles in people's minds. It whispers questions late at night. It makes hearts feel heavy, even while they are trying to stay positive. Because immigrants have lived through this before. They have heard big promises. They have seen headlines that sounded life-changing. They have felt excitement rise, only to watch it slowly fade when nothing moved in Congress. So when a new statement appears, even one that sounds hopeful, many people freeze for a moment. They ask themselves, is this real change? Or is this just politics? Fear mixes with curiosity. Parents look at their children and wonder if it is safe to believe. Workers talk in low voices, careful not to celebrate too early. Dreamers scroll through news updates with fast-beating hearts, trying to understand what is real and what is speculation. Uncertainty is powerful because it creates tension inside the soul. On one side, there is hope pulling you forward. On the other side, there is fear holding you back. And that space in between can feel exhausting. Some people worry that talking about citizenship could lead to backlash. Others worry that if reform fails again, it will feel even more painful than before. There is a silent question many are afraid to say out loud. What if this raises expectations and then nothing happens? That fear is not weakness, it is experience. It comes from years of watching immigration debates turn into political battles. It comes from court decisions changing protections overnight. It comes from seeing programs start, stop, and start again. For undocumented immigrants, uncertainty is not new. It has been part of daily life for years, not knowing what the future holds, not knowing if policies will tighten or loosen, not knowing if leadership changes will bring relief or more restrictions. But when citizenship is mentioned, the uncertainty becomes stronger because the stakes feel higher. This is not about a small policy update. This is about identity, belonging, security, the ability to live without fear. Essential workers may ask, will we really be recognized or will we be forgotten again? Dreamers may wonder, will this finally give us stability or will we remain stuck in temporary status? Families may ask, should we prepare for opportunity or prepare for disappointment? These questions are real. They deserve to be acknowledged. At the same time, uncertainty does something important. It forces people to pay attention. It pushes communities to seek facts instead of rumors. It reminds immigrants to stay grounded, to stay alert, to not let emotions control decisions. Uncertainty can feel uncomfortable, but it also builds strength. It teaches patience. It teaches wisdom. It teaches people to balance hope with realism. Instead of rushing into celebration or falling into panic, many immigrants are choosing a middle path. They are listening carefully. They are waiting for details. They are asking smart questions. That is powerful. Because while uncertainty may create fear, it also creates awareness. It reminds people that change in America moves through systems, through negotiations, through votes. It reminds them that speeches are the beginning of conversations, not the final outcome. And in this moment of mixed emotions, hope rising, fear lingering, questions multiplying, millions of people are standing in that space between possibility and reality, watching closely, thinking deeply, and holding their breath just a little longer. In the middle of shock, hope, and uncertainty, something deeply powerful begins to surface: recognition. For so many years, undocumented immigrants, essential workers, and dreamers have lived in the background of the American story. They worked quietly, they sacrificed quietly, they struggled quietly. Their names were rarely mentioned in speeches unless the conversation was negative. Rarely were they described as builders, protectors, contributors. But now, even the hint of citizenship brings something different. It brings acknowledgement. Essential workers remember the hardest days, the long hospital shifts during the pandemic, the empty highways they drove on before sunrise, the grocery shelves they restocked when everyone else stayed home, the farms they worked under burning sun so food could reach every table. They did not stop. They did not walk away. They showed up when the country needed them most. And many of them did this without papers, without security, without certainty about tomorrow. So when leaders speak about possible pathways, it feels like someone is finally saying, "We see you." That matters more than people realize. Recognition is not just political, it is emotional, it is human. It tells someone their work counted, that their sweat meant something, that their presence was not invisible. Dreamers feel this recognition deeply as well. Young people who were brought here as children had no choice in how they arrived. They grew up in American classrooms. They played on American sports teams. They studied for American exams. They built friendships, careers, and dreams in the only country they truly know. For years they have lived in between, American in every way except on paper. So when citizenship is mentioned in connection with them, it feels like validation. It feels like someone finally admitting that their lives are rooted here. Long-term undocumented residents feel it too. The parents who raise children who are now U.S. citizens. The small business owners who serve their neighborhoods. the construction workers who helped build the very cities they live in, the caregivers who looked after elderly Americans with compassion and dignity. Recognition says their years were not wasted, their loyalty was not meaningless, their contribution is part of the foundation of this country, and recognition changes something inside a person. When you feel seen, you stand taller. When you feel valued, you gain strength. When your struggle is acknowledged, your dignity returns. This moment is not just about legal status. It is about identity. It is about belonging. It is about being part of the national conversation not as a problem, but as a contribution. For too long, many immigrants felt like shadows, present but not acknowledged. But now, their roles as workers, as students, as parents, as community members are being spoken out loud in national discussions. That is powerful. Because when a nation begins to recognize the people who have quietly carried it forward, it opens the door for deeper change. Recognition does not automatically create laws, but it creates awareness. It builds respect. It shifts the tone of the conversation. And when recognition grows, so does dignity. And with dignity comes strength that cannot be ignored. As powerful as recognition feels, this is the moment where we must ground ourselves in truth. Because words, no matter how strong, are not laws. A speech can inspire, a statement can create headlines, a hint can shake the nation. But none of those automatically change immigration status. None of those grant citizenship overnight. None of those rewrite the law with a single sentence. This is where reality steps in. Immigration reform in America is never simple. It moves through a system that is slow, detailed, and often divided. Congress must draft a bill, committees must review it, lawmakers must debate it, votes must happen in both chambers, differences must be negotiated, and finally, it must be signed into law. That process takes time, sometimes months, sometimes years. No president, no matter how powerful, can create a full pathway to citizenship alone. That authority belongs to Congress, and Congress operates through agreement, compromise, and political balance. That is not meant to discourage you, it is meant to protect you, because when emotions run high, misinformation spreads quickly. Social media can turn a single comment into a guaranteed program within hours. Rumors grow fast, false hope spreads faster than facts, and disappointment hurts most when expectations are not grounded in reality. A reality check does not mean giving up hope. It means strengthening it with wisdom. It means understanding that if change is coming, it will come through official announcements, written legislation, and signed laws. It means knowing that until something is formally passed, nothing has legally changed. This is not about being negative. It is about being smart. Strong communities are not built on rumors. They are built on facts. Strong families do not make life decisions based on headlines. They wait for confirmation. They verify information. They prepare carefully. Immigration reform is complex because it touches many issues at once: border security, workforce needs, national safety, human rights, economic impact, political priorities. Every group in Congress may focus on a different part of that puzzle, and when disagreements happen, bills can stall. That is the system. And understanding the system gives you power. When you know that real change requires legislation, you avoid panic. You avoid celebrating too early. You stay steady. You stay informed. You stay prepared. A reality check is not cold. It is protective. It keeps you balanced between hope and fear. It reminds you that speeches are signals, not final decisions. It tells you that change, if it comes, will come step by step. And when you combine hope with realism, something powerful happens. You become patient but alert, optimistic but wise, inspired but grounded. Because in immigration, the strongest position is not extreme excitement or deep fear, it is clear understanding. Now, this is where power truly shifts, not in speeches, not in headlines, but in preparation. Because while politicians debate and lawmakers negotiate, you still control something very important. You control how ready you are. Preparation is strength. If citizenship ever becomes a real opportunity, it will not reward panic. It will reward readiness. It will favor those who kept their documents organized, who kept records safe, who stayed informed instead of distracted. This is not the time to sit back and simply wait. This is the time to quietly build your foundation. Keep proof of your residence. Save important paperwork. Keep tax records if you file. Store school transcripts, work history, pay stubs, rental agreements, medical records, anything that shows your life here. These documents are not just papers. They are proof of your story. They show your contribution. They show your roots. If you are an essential worker, keep evidence of your employment. Letters from employers, work contracts, any official documents that show you showed up when the country needed you. If you are a dreamer, keep your school records, diplomas, certifications, proof of community involvement. These things matter. Preparation also means protecting yourself from misinformation. Do not trust every social media post. Do not follow rumors that promise fast results. Real immigration programs are announced officially. They are published clearly. They are explained through legal channels. When you prepare wisely, you reduce fear. When your paperwork is organized, your confidence grows. You do not panic when discussions begin because you know you are ready. Preparation is also emotional. It means staying calm. It means not letting every headline control your mood. It means balancing hope with discipline. Strong communities prepare together. Families talk openly. They plan carefully. They seek advice from trusted immigration attorneys when needed. They do not make rushed decisions based on excitement. If reform becomes real, deadlines will matter. Eligibility requirements will matter. Background checks will matter. Continuous residence will matter. Those who can quickly show proof will move forward with confidence. This is your moment to take control of what you can control. You may not control Congress. You may not control political negotiations, but you control your readiness. And readiness is powerful. Every document you organize is a step toward opportunity. Every official update you follow is protection against confusion. Every careful decision you make strengthens your position. Do not wait for change to begin preparing. Prepare as if opportunity could knock tomorrow. Because when doors open, they often open quickly, and those who are ready walk through with strength, clarity, and confidence. And now more than ever, awareness becomes your shield. In moments like this, when big words are spoken and emotions are high, the most powerful thing you can do is stay informed. Not confused, not distracted, not pulled in every direction by rumors, but alert, focused, aware, because information is protection. When immigration topics explode into national headlines, social media becomes loud. Videos appear claiming citizenship is guaranteed. Posts spread saying applications are opening tomorrow. Others spread fear, warning of mass enforcement immediately. The noise grows fast, and when people are emotional, they are more likely to believe what they want to hear or what they fear most. That is why awareness matters. Awareness means checking official sources. It means listening to trusted immigration experts. It means waiting for real announcements from government agencies before making decisions. It means understanding the difference between political talk and signed law. Staying aware is not passive. It is active strength. It means following updates carefully. It means asking smart questions. It means refusing to let misinformation control your future. It means protecting your family from false hope and unnecessary fear. Awareness also builds unity. When communities stay informed together, they become stronger together. They share verified updates. They warn each other about scams. They guide each other toward trusted legal help. They become a network of support instead of a network of confusion. And let's be honest, immigration discussions often bring out strong opinions on all sides. Debates become emotional. News channels amplify drama. Political leaders speak to different audiences with different messages. In that environment, it is easy to feel overwhelmed. But you do not need to absorb every loud voice. You need clarity. You need truth. You need patience. When you stay aware, you protect your peace. You do not panic when rumors spread. You do not rush into risky decisions. You do not pay money to unlicensed consultants who promise shortcuts. You stand steady because you are informed. Awareness also means watching the bigger picture. Who controls Congress? What bills are introduced? What committee hearings are scheduled? What official votes are happening? These details matter more than emotional speeches. Being aware turns you from a passive observer into an informed participant in your own future. And in times of uncertainty, awareness brings calm. It reminds you that change takes time. It reminds you that the system moves step by step. It reminds you that patience is not weakness, it is wisdom. So as this conversation continues, as debates grow louder, as headlines come and go, choose awareness. Choose facts over rumors. Choose preparation over panic. Choose clarity over chaos. Because when you stay aware, you stay powerful.